My name is Good day, everyone. My name is Joan, and a data associate here at Analytics, and I will be your host for tonight. All right. So, just to know where you're joining in from, please drop your name and as well as your location in the chat box. Like I said, I'm Joan, and I'm joining in from Nigeria. So, wherever you're joining in from, drop your location, your name in the chat box. Let's get to meet you. All right. So I'm looking through for responses. Fantastic. Kolawole from Abuja, Nigeria. Awesome. Joshua from Ibadan. Rosemary from, I think that's Ghana. Yukemi from Abuja. Grace from Canada. Damilola from Scotland. Amazing, amazing. Okay. So that's literally the beauty of virtual learning, like virtual gatherings. You get to meet people from across the globe without necessarily having to leave wherever it is that you are. Okay, so once again, you are absolutely welcome to today's session. And for today, we'll be taking you through like how easy it is or how hard it is to, transition into the data analytics career. I mean, in the year 2024. I know at some point, most of us must have heard one or two things about the tech space, especially the data analytics tech space. And you're wondering, is it that easy? Is it hard? Is it difficult? I mean, how difficult could it be? What do you need to transition into a career, a data analytics career? Okay. And we'll be running you through that in today's session. All right. So just before I, introduce the session properly, I would like to know those that are joining us for the very first time. Okay. Just to, have a feel of those who are just joining us for the first time. So if this is the first time you're joining any of our sessions here, hosted by Tenalytics, you can just drop a 1 in the chat box. Let's get to say hello and meet you. All right. Oh, amazing. Joshua is joining us here for the first time. Grace is also joining for the first time. Manny, we have quite a few persons joining in for the first time, and that's amazing. All right. You are absolutely welcome. And I can guarantee that it is definitely going to be worth your time spending it with us here at Tenalytics. Okay. So please give me a few minutes to share my screen and talk more about what we'll be doing today. Okay. So when my screen comes up, let me know if you can see my screen. All right. So please, if you can see my screen, just let me know, okay? You can type a yes in the chat box so I get to know that everyone can see my screen. Awesome, awesome. All right then. Okay, so like I said, welcome everyone. And today's session is literally going to be taking you through how to transition into data analytics career in the year 2024. Okay, so especially for our first timers, all right, who you probably don't know what we do at Tenalytics, or it's your first time, like I said, joining us. Okay, so Tenalytics is an educational technological firm. And what we do is to help Africans as well as those in the Black community to transition into the tech space and also lower the barrier in the tech space, okay? So our services are aimed at building capacity across several tech careers, including data analytics, business analytics, data engineering, the Power Platform, financial analytics, and a lot more, and the entire data system, okay, so as to help individuals make better data-driven decisions, okay? And at our disposal are very highly qualified top professionals in the space who are facilitators to structure your learning, all right? Now, these facilitators know their onions, they know what they're very good at what they do, and they will be taking you through the process, all right? Some of them have worked in companies like Apple, Microsoft, McKinsey, Amazon, Deloitte, and other top organizations across the globe. All right. So you're definitely in safe hands. Okay. And all our courses are structured in such a way that you get optimum value. All right. So taking you through today's session is none other than our founder, Adeza Suleiman. All right. Adeza is an expert in the field and he would be running you through the session for tonight. Okay, so Adeza is our founder, like I mentioned, and he has trained well over 8,000 participants, and he would be taking you through letting you know the nitty-gritty on how to have a stable career in the data analytics space. Okay, Adeiza, good evening, and over to you.
All right, good evening, Joan. Thank you for that wonderful introduction, and good evening, everybody. So happy to be here today to have this amazing session with you. All right. I think Joan has clearly confirmed those that are joining us for the first time. So we are in for a fantastic ride today. Okay, and I'll be showing you two key things. The first thing I'll be showing you today is a practical aspect of being a data analyst. So how do you solve problems and how do you answer questions using a simple tool that most of you are familiar with, and that's Excel. All right. We'll leave that and move on to the second phase, which would involve why people find it very difficult to transition and why you should not follow what everybody else, are doing at this point in time. It's always good and it's always brilliant to always go against the tide. Okay, where everybody are running towards one direction, you need to take a step back and look at where people are going to. Is this really the way to go? And I've seen so many people make mistakes. I have made those mistakes myself, trying to transition and navigate into the tech ecosystem as a data analyst. And it took me over 2 years because I was trying to figure things out myself. I was trying to self-study. I was trying to do so many things. However, I hit so many roadblocks, okay? And that was 10 years ago, all right? That's about a decade ago. So all the learnings from over a decade, I'm bringing it to you to tell you that, look, there is a better way to learn and a better way to transition. It doesn't matter if you're starting for the very first time or you are currently doing something, you work in accounting, for example, and you want to make the switch into data analytics. How do you transition? Is it easy or is it hard? So we are here to demystify a couple of the myth and also the misconceptions that you'd find within the space. Okay, yes, data is the new oil. Definitely, that's something we strongly believe in at Tenalytics. Okay, Kolawole is asking the question now. I'm not sure exactly what your question is, Kolawole, but you might want to elaborate on that a bit so I can help to answer the question that you have. So I'll share my slide and would kick off. So like I mentioned, our session is broken into two parts. The first part is where we'd work on a practical case study together. Okay, and I'd want some of you to join me to solve the problem using Excel. I'll share the data sets with you. So for those of you that would want to follow and do what I'm doing, that'll be brilliant. You can do that. And when we move to the second aspect, I would also talk about the nitty-gritty, why people find it very difficult, and how you can break out from that particular, stumbling block and make a way ahead for yourself. Okay, so let's go ahead and share. I'll do a proper introduction and then we'll kick off with the main meat of our session today. Okay, I'm very conscious of time and I'll ensure that we round off within the next 2 hours. Okay, I'm very, very conscious and ensure that the first part, 1 hour, the second part, another hour, and you go away with a fantastic learning experience. All right, so I'll do a bit of introduction before I start for the benefit of those that are meeting us for the very first time. Okay, so how easy or hard is it to switch to a data analytics career? We are looking into 2024. Amazing stuff has happened in 2023 for us as an organization and for so many other individuals who have gone through or decided to go through Tenalytics in the year 2023. So again, Joan has already talked about what we do. We offer so many different premium training programs across different areas, especially within the area of tech and data specifically, data analytics, cybersecurity, Scrum, AI, HR analytics, and so on and so forth. And for those of you that are meeting me for the first time, my name is Adeiza Suleiman. I'm a data analytics expert with close to a decade years of experience across 5 different sectors. I've worked in financial services, in educational technology, in sports, and also I've worked in management consulting. I've worked in energy, and that was where I really did the best work as a data analyst when I was in the energy sector. Okay, I've worked with so many organizations in the UK and the US as a data science consultant, a data analytics consultant, and I've trained well over 8,500 people. So I'd love you guys to connect with me across different platforms. Send a connection to me on LinkedIn. Send a connection to me on Twitter or X, and I'll be very happy to, engage and interact with all of you. Okay, I'm based in the UK, but I'm currently in Nigeria. Got to Nigeria on Monday, and I've been having a fantastic time ever since I got back to the motherland. Okay, so this is what we're going to discuss today. So the first part, like I said, practical case study. I'll show you the skills you need to become a data analyst. People get confused and they don't know what to do. They don't know where to learn and how to learn. What do I start with? How do I end? What is relevant? What is not relevant? And so on and so forth. And these are the things I'll be talking about today. And ensure you have your pen, you have a notepad, take away all distractions and have an amazing time today. I would also talk about the upcoming data analytics program that will start on the 6th of January, 2024. And I'll share some success stories with you and the special discounts we have for everybody here on the call. So the question is, why choose a career in data analytics? Why do you want to become a data analyst? I was speaking that was on Saturday, the 9th of December. We had a session, right? And somebody asked the question. I've been hearing a lot of buzz. There's been a lot of buzz about data science, data analytics, and so on and so forth. All right. Why choose a career in data analytics? And the answer is very simple. We are generating data at an unprecedented rate. It has never happened before. All right. About 2.5 quintillion bytes of data are generated every day. How do we make sense of the data? Okay. We use different platforms, multiple platforms, different channels to make payments, transactions. On Twitter, we send comments and so on. We send reviews to different organizations that exist. How will those organizations make sense of the data that they generate? Either through their customers or they generate internally while carrying out their operations. Okay? And 90% of the data that exists today were generated in the last 3 years. 90% of the data that exists today were generated in the last 3 years. So who makes sense of that data? How do you take decisions from the data that you have? Because data is useless when it is not refined. If you look at the inscription on my shirt, it says data is the new oil. Okay, so you drill for oil, you get the crude. The crude is almost useless. You can't do anything with it until you refine the crude and you start to get the different derivatives and byproducts of crude oil. Petroleum is one of them that powers your vehicles. The same thing with data. Data is useless the way it is until you are able to refine, you are able to analyze and extract insights from that data. And that's why organizations need data analysts. Okay, so there is no better time to be a data analyst than today, because organizations are out there to look for you. They want you, they need your skills to help them take data-driven decisions and also make sense of the data that they have, because they can't do it on their own. They need you to help them solve or crack that particular nut. Okay, so I'll just take it a little bit further from there. The demand as well is growing. The demand for data analysts within the tech ecosystem is also growing at an unprecedented rate. And I shared this also on Sunday, the 9th of December, and I'm going to share it again with you guys today. Okay, and when you receive the slide, I spoke with somebody yesterday, on Tuesday, I beg your pardon, and I told him, look, you need to read the World Economic Forum reports. If you're ever going to move into a new career, especially within tech, you need to know which area should I move into, because tech is very broad, all right? And I love the World Economic Forum because they project the jobs that would grow within the next 5 to 10 years. And they have been very, very accurate in predicting the jobs that would grow, all right? And I love to showcase this at every point in time when I have the opportunity. And this particular page, so when you download the reports, which I have kept the link for you over here, okay, go to page 30 and it takes you to this particular screenshot. I took this screenshot from page 30, okay? Now, you have at the left-hand side, jobs that would grow in demand. And at the right-hand side, jobs that would decline in demand. So you can't move into a career path that is likely going to what? Decline in the next 5 years. That's, I would say, that's not strategic. Okay, that's you just thinking and making assumptions. But what are the career paths that will grow in demand within the next 5 years, according to the World Economic Forum from 2023 to 2027? Okay, and I'm not going to go too detailed into this. I want us to just look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What do you have there? Data analysts and data scientists. Data analysts and data scientists. These are roles that will keep on growing in demand. And the reason is very simple and it's very logical. Okay, we are generating data at an unprecedented rate, 2.5 quintillion data per day. How do organizations make sense of the data? They need the capacity, they need the human resources that help them make sense of these data. And that's why they need data scientists, they need data analysts to manage the data, put the data into a structured format that can be analyzed and insights can be extracted to take data-driven decisions. So if I were you and I want to decide on my career path in the next 5 years, the next 10 years, I'm going to look for that career path that would grow in demand. And that's why we are here today. So how do you become a data analyst? How do you move into a career path that would grow in demand within the next 5 to 10 years? And I'll be showing you how to do that today. But first of all, like I said, we're going to do a practical session, okay? Just to keep it a little bit. How do I download the reports, okay? So maybe what I can do is, okay, Chuku said, I've worked with you in the energy sector in Lagos, Nigeria. Fantastic, okay, Chuku. Good to have you join us today, okay? So I'm going to share the link. Just give me 1 second. I'll share the link. The link is already on the slide. I've kept that on the slide for you. So at the end of the session, you have the link available on the slide, but I'll just share it again with you on the call so that you can download it on the fly, okay? So I'll drop it in the chat for everybody. So, but again, if you just type on Google, the Future of Jobs Reports, WEF 2023, it will give you this report and then you have access to this, okay? So this is a way to choose and decide on where the opportunities will be and why you need to select strategically the career path you'd like to move into. So we're going to do something very straightforward in the real sense of it, and also try to enjoy the process, okay? And what we'll do is very simple. Now, people consume alcohol, and especially in the UK, you have a whole lot of issues, health-related issues, of people dying as a result of alcohol consumption. So it's been a challenge, and the government has decided to say that, okay, we need to come up with some policy decisions. We need to drive awareness campaigns. There are so many things we need to do to reduce the number of deaths caused by alcohol consumption. So in this case study, we're going to imagine ourselves as data analysts, all right, working with the NHS. And our role is to then help the NHS analyze the data they have and answer 3 key questions. Of course, because I'm also trying to manage time, we're not going to do something overly elaborate, okay? But we'll see how we can analyze within a very short period of time, extract insights, see what the data says by using a tool like Excel, simple and short. Excel is one of the fundamental tools you must know how to use as a data analyst. And some of the key insights would consider, are there specific regions in the UK that witness higher number of alcohol-related deaths? Okay, of course, you know the UK comprises of 4 different regions: Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and England. So out of these 4 regions, is there any particular region that has witnessed a higher number of alcohol-related deaths. And maybe we can start our campaign from there to say, look, the number of people that have died due to alcohol in this region is just too much. How do we start to address that problem? Okay. Secondly, we're also going to answer the question, what are the leading causes of alcohol-related deaths? Are there specific conditions or diseases that are predominant? Okay, we also want to know, why are people dying? What is that specific cause of death? The alcohol itself would not kill you, but it would lead to a particular type of disease, which would eventually kill the individual. So what are the specific causes? We want to answer that question. And lastly, we also want to know the age groups that are most at risk of dying due to alcohol. Okay, so looking at the age groups, do we have people that are likely going to die due to alcohol? Looking at the historical data that we have, and this is real life data. Okay, the data, I got the data from the Office of the National Statistics in the UK. All right, so if you also search the Office of National Statistics in the UK, you'd find this same data sets. All right, and one of the ways you can also, leverage, hone your skills, get better at what you do is by looking out for real life data. Okay, now let's try to answer these 3 questions. And like I said, we're going to use Excel to do this. We've done something like this. I think that was about 2 months ago, but we used Power BI. This time around, we're going to use Excel, and we're going to try to answer these 3 questions very, very quickly. And once we answer question 1, I would like to find out from you what you think. Okay, what do you think can be done? What strategies can be put in place to ensure that we can reduce the alcohol-related death? Okay, so I'm just simply going to, where's the report? I dropped that in the chat, ABB. Okay, I dropped the report, the Future of Jobs report, World Economic Forum. You can just type that on Google and you'll find it. Okay, it's publicly available, to anybody who wants it. All right, so I'm going to launch Excel and then we'll get started. So for those of you that also have Excel, please be my guest. Let's work together. Okay, and this is the data. The data, I have the link also available on my slide. So at the end of today's session, you'd also get the link, but I'm going to drop the link for you as well so that you can also access the data. So I'm just going to click on the link and then you'd see what the data looks like. So this is what the data looks like. Yeah, ICD, individual cause of death description. So the reason why people died due to alcohol, the gender, the age groups index, the death, which means the number of people that have died, and then the location, which are the regions in the UK. So this is what the data looks like. And I'm going to share that with you shortly. Just give me 1 second. I'll drop the link in the chat as well so that you have access to the data. Okay. All right. So let me drop this in the chat for the benefit of those that want to work with me. I'd love you to work with me and let's solve this problem together. So that's the link to the data. It's also available. So if you want to follow me, brilliant, let's work together. If you want to do this after this session, it's also fantastic. You have the link on the slide. I'd make that available. It's already there for you eventually, okay? So what I want you to do once you have clicked on that link and you have this particular data set, so I can see people are joining. That's absolutely fantastic. So I can see people are accessing the data. All you need to do is click on File and then Download. Okay, click on File and you'll see Download. And this is how you download the data into your computer. So we're already working our way towards becoming data analysts by just doing this. All right, you've clicked on the link, you have where the data is. You go to File, click on File, go to Download, and download as an Excel file. Okay, so I'm just going to click on Microsoft Excel, and then it will download the file for me as an Excel file. Okay, and you see that pop up somewhere in here. So you can see that. That's the data set I just downloaded. Alcohol regions final. Okay, I'm going to open this up, and this is where my data is. I'm going to go to my downloads, and then I'll open it up. Okay, so I want you to do the same. Once you have downloaded, go ahead and go to your downloads folder. So I'm going to open up my downloads folder. Okay, I'll open up my downloads folder. All right, and I can see alcohol regions final. Alcohol regions final. That's the data, and you have access to that. Okay, Nawaz is saying done already. Brilliant. Pinky B, you haven't missed much. Okay. Okay, so Treasure or Lydia, you can drop the link to the data set again so that the gentleman can pick the data from there. Now I'm going to open this by just double clicking on it to launch. So this is the data that I have from the NHS, from the Office of National Statistics, that contains the data of people that have died due to alcohol. So I double click on this to launch, and it opens it up for me in Excel. Okay, and it opens it up like this, and I'm just going to click on enable editing, so I can work on the file and do my analysis, answer the questions I want to answer, and so on and so forth. Okay, so now that we can see the data and we can see what it looks like, we have the year of when people died. Let me maximize this a bit. The year when people died. So our data is from 2001 to 2020. All right. So if you click on the drop down, you'd see from the year 2001 to the year 2020. And that's the amount of data, or the duration of when the data was collected. All right. We have the ICD-10 code. So this code is simply for the cause of death. Now you'd see that E24.4 means alcohol-induced pseudo-crushing syndrome. So this particular cause of death has the code E24.4. So every cause of death has its respective code. So this ICD, that's individual cause of death, that's the code for the individual cause of death. And of course, you have the description that clearly shows you the cause of death. So if you scroll down, you'd see, more causes of death and so on and so forth. Okay, so you have time to explore the data and look at all the amazing stuff you want to do. You have gender, male, female. If I click on the drop down, you have female, you have male, and you have persons. I'll explain what this means. Okay, now persons is a combination of male and female, in the sense that the way the data was collected, they decided to segregate, to break it down into male and female. But then you also have the summation of male plus female, and that's where you have persons. So when you're analyzing the data, you have to be wary and also take note of that. So if I want to find the total number of deaths, all I need to do is find the number of deaths for female plus male. If I add persons to it, it means I'm double counting. Okay, so for me to find the total number of deaths, I need to just add up male plus female, and that gives me my answer. I'm going to take out what? Persons. Okay, so it's very important for us to note that. Then we have the age groups. Age groups of people that have died due to alcohol. All right, we have the age index. Okay, so less than 1 means that's the least, the youngest. We have 1 to 4 years old, and that's number 2, the second youngest, and number 3, 5 to 9, 10 to 14, and so on and so forth. Okay, now you have death, meaning that you have what? Number, the number of people. So from here, you can see that less than 1 in the year 2001 in England, there was no death recorded. There was no death recorded for anybody less than 1 in England, Northern Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. All right, so the number of deaths simply shows us the number of people that have died due to alcohol-related issues. And if I click on the drop down, you'd see the number 0, 1, and so on and so on. You scroll all the way down, and you see the numbers of people that have died And of course, last but not the least, you have the location, which are the regions in the UK. Okay. All right. So let's get into it and answer the first question. Now, when you have data like this in Excel, and as a data analyst, you really can't give this data to anybody and they make sense of it. Okay. If we're to answer the questions one by one, based on what we just have, we can't do it. We need to find a way to summarize. So all these records we have from 2001 to 2020, can we summarize? What's the total? What's the average? Can we bring it into a summary? So it's easy for us to see how many people in England, rather than having individual records, just like what we have now. And to do this, we're going to use a tool called the pivot table. We're going to use a tool called the what? The pivot table. The pivot table is a fantastic tool in Excel that will help us do what? Summarize our data. Okay, and that's the tool we'll use to answer the 3 questions that we have. And after using the pivot table to summarize, we'll then use the pivot charts to visualize. All right, because I can sit down here telling you everything that happened with this data, but until you see it yourself, it really won't make so much sense to you. So once we have, and summarize using the pivot table, we'll then visualize using the pivot chart. Okay, and we're going to make this as straightforward as possible. Let's get back to our session. Okay, I'm just going to take this out so it doesn't obstruct what we are doing. Okay. Okay, now let's go back to the slide to see question 1. Now, the very first question we have here says, are there specific regions in the UK that witnessed a higher number of deaths? So we want to see England, Northern Ireland, Wales, Scotland. Do we have a specific region that witnessed higher number of deaths due to alcohol? That's the first question. Okay. Now, this question can be answered using Excel in so many ways. And Excel today has become so fantastic. Okay, a lot more than you ever would have dreamed of. All right, but we can't do everything because of time. But I'll show you 2 ways you can easily do this. I'll show you the first one, and then I'll show you the other way you can do it. Now, there is a way you can do this without even creating the pivot table yourself. We're going to tell Excel to create the pivot table for us. Okay, we'll tell Excel, create the pivot table. Show me the location by the number of deaths. So how many people died in England, Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales? Show me. I don't want to create it myself. I want you to create it for me. So that's one way we can do it. Okay. And not everybody will be able to do the same because it is an AI, artificial intelligence driven feature of Excel. And that's not available in every Excel version. All right. It's not available in all Excel versions. It's available in some, I think from 2019 and above, and also in Office 365. And what is that particular feature? So if you look at the top right corner where my mouse is hovering, you'd see Analyze Data. Okay, so if you click on the Home tab on your Excel and you see Analyze Data at the top right corner, you know that you have this feature. If you don't see it, then you need to get a version of Excel that has the feature. So I'll show you how to summarize this data using the Analyze Data feature, and then I'll go back and show you how you can do it yourself if you don't have that feature to do it for you. Okay, so let's do that very quickly. And all I need to do is just click anywhere on my data. I don't need to select everything. Just click anywhere on the data sets. Make sure you are within the data, either within a cell where you have your year, within a cell where you have individual cause of death, ensure you have clicked somewhere within the data itself. And at the top right corner, I'll click on what? Analyze Data. Analyze Data. Okay. And the moment I click on Analyze Data, what happens? It starts to read the type of data that I have. And like I mentioned, this is an AI-driven feature in Excel. Not everybody would have it. Not everybody would have this, okay? So once I've done that, you'd see the pane at the right-hand side that says analyze data. Somebody said mine is not opening. Favor, what exactly is not opening? Please let me know, and then maybe I can help you out, okay? What is not opening? Can you send the Excel? I think this has been shared multiple times. Let me share again. Or Joan, please share the link to the data set one more time, okay? So now we want to answer question 1. So I'll go to the analyze data pane, and where I have ask a question about the data. So we have our data and we want to tell Excel, give me the answer to this question. And what do I want to find? I want to find what? The location. And I'm just going to type that. Location by death. Location by death. And as I'm typing, you would see my drop down. Okay, location by what? Death. And I click on that. So what I've done is just to tell analyze data, give me location by death. So England, I want to see the number of death. Scotland, I want to see the number of death. Okay, that's what I'm doing. So location by death, you can either hit the enter key on your keyboard, or you simply click this right arrow key to submit the question. So the moment I click on the right arrow key, what happens? It shows me something, okay? And if I look underneath where I have written my question, I can see death by location. And I can see England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. And this is Excel doing my work for me. So this has gone beyond the conventional way of being a data analyst, where you spend so many times analyzing data. I mean, I wished when I started years back, this was available. Okay, I also wished tools like Bard, tools like ChatGPT are available today, because these tools have made it so easy being a data analyst. You don't have to struggle. You don't have to bother your head so much, because you have all those tools to do all the worrying for you. All you have to do is know how to tell the tool what to do. This is what I want. So when you get a wrong result, you know that the result is wrong, because the tool can't do everything, can't think for you, okay? But you want the tool, you want to direct, have that power. So you are the conductor of the orchestra. You are telling the tool, telling Excel, telling ChatGPT, telling Bard, this is what I want, get it for me. When it's wrong, you know how to correct it and why it is wrong. So for me to conclude on what I've done, I'll just click on Insert Pivot Chart. And the moment I click on Insert Pivot Chart, it's going to give me the pivot table and the pivot chart. So without typing in any formula, without doing anything extraordinary, Excel has given me my results. The result that I want. We're going to do this manually. We're going to do this manually. So if you don't find analyze data feature on your Excel, it's fine. We're going to do this manually. So what Excel has just done for us now is it has given us what? Our pivot table. Okay. Our pivot table and our pivot chart. Now I want somebody who's going to unmute. If where you are is quiet enough and you want to speak, what do you notice from this visual, from the chart? If you look at the chart, what do you notice? Where is the problem? If you want to speak, just raise your hand. I'll call you up to answer, to unmute yourself, and let's hear from you. Where is the problem? Who wants to speak? Who wants to share their thoughts with us today? Anybody? Nawaz, okay. So Nawaz, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself. Nawaz, I've asked you to unmute. So tell us where the problem is from the pivot chart you can see.
Good day, Mr. Sulaiman. Good day, everyone.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Go ahead, please.
All right, so from the data given, you can see England has the higher populated of deaths, followed by Scotland.
Absolutely.
Yes,
England clearly has the highest number of deaths,
yes.
at least by location. Okay, followed by Scotland. said.
Yes,
Go
followed by Wales, and followed by Northern Ireland.
followed by Northern Ireland. Fantastic. Thank you very much for that, Nawaz.
You're welcome,
And for
sir.
everybody else who also wanted to contribute. I think this is absolutely phenomenal. So clearly, you can see that without doing too much and using a tool like Excel, you can start to see where the problems are or where the problem is and provide solutions. Now, let's also remember something, okay? Population is also a key factor, all right? England seems to have the highest number, around 207, because 207,000, because it is possible England also has the highest population, but our data set does not have population, okay? And the question the data has just asked is, where is the problem? Which region or which location has the problem? So we've answered question 1, and I love the way we've done it. We've done it by not creating things manually ourselves. We used a feature called analyze data. But the next question, we're going to answer that by building our pivot table ourselves and building our pivot chart ourselves. So you can do this, at your own convenience later. So let's try this out. So question 1 is done. I'll go to my tab. I'll right click on the tab, and then I'll click on rename, and I'll call this question 1 and hit enter. So that's question 1 done and dusted. Okay. So time to answer question number 2. So if you missed out following me on question 1, let's solve question 2 together. If you can do question 2, you can always do question 1 later on, okay? So what does question 2 says? Question 2 says, what are the leading causes? What are the leading causes of alcohol-related death? Okay, remember, our data set has individual causes of death. The reason why people died, was it due to alcohol liver disease? Was it due to mental disorders? What exactly led to the death of these people? So that's question number 2. So let's go back to the data to try to answer. So going back to the data sets, okay, I have individual causes of death. But again, I have the records 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can't start counting manually. I also need to summarize using the pivot table. But this time around, I'm not going to tell Excel to do it for me. I'm going to do it myself, okay? So all you need to do, click anywhere within the data set, go to the Insert tab on your Excel. So if you look at the top where you have your Excel ribbons, you have the file, the home, the insert, and so on and so forth, okay? So those menu would vary depending on the version you have. So if yours is a bit different from mine, don't fret. It's just a version issue, okay? So if you have a different version, your menu might be a little bit different, okay? So if I click on Insert, under Insert, you'd see Pivot Table. So this means I want to insert a pivot table, okay? So I click on the pivot table. You see the drop down. I click on that. I have pivot table from a table/range or pivot table from an external data source. My pivot table is from a range. I have the range of the data right in front of me, okay? So I'm going to select the first option that says from table/range, and I click on that. There's a shortcut to doing this as well, okay? There's a shortcut to this. So this is how you insert a pivot table. So you can see this pane, the pivot table pane. I can then click what I want to click. So again, one more time, click anywhere within your data set, go to Insert and click on what? Pivot Table, and select from table/range. Or you can use the shortcut Alt-N-V-T. Okay, Alt-N-V-T. Alt, the Alt key, N for November, V for Victor, and T for Tango. Alt-N-V-T. That also creates the pivot table for you. All right. So I have this here, and all I'm going to do is I want it in a new worksheet, because you'd see the new worksheet, existing worksheet. I ensure that I select new worksheet, and then I click on OK. All right. So this is going to create a new pivot table for me. So what Excel did at the back end and gave us a result, we are creating it ourselves this time around. We want to find out the individual cause of death, the one that ranks the highest, okay? So I've created my pivot table. You can see that here, but it is not populated. There is nothing in it. I need to populate it. Populate it with what? The individual cause of death and the total number of death. So I'll go to my pivot table field at the right-hand side, and you'd see all the columns that forms your data set. The year, the ICD code, individual cause of death. This is one of the features or one of the columns that I need. I'm going to click on individual cause of death, drag it, and drop it under rows. And once I drag it, I click on it, I drag and drop under rows. What do you see? You can see it populating in the rows. Accidental poisoning, alcohol, cardiomyopathy, alcohol gastritis, alcohol liver disease. You can see all the causes of death by simply doing what? Dragging the individual cause of death, drop it under rows. Now I want to populate it with the number of death. So for accidental poisoning by an exposure to alcohol, how many people died as a result of this? Okay, so I'm simply going to take my death, drag it, click on it, drag it and drop it under where? Values. Drag and drop under where? Values. And once I do this, it's going to populate with the numbers for me, the total number of death for each cause of death. Okay, and you can see where I dropped my two features. The individual cause of death was dropped under rows because I wanted them to appear in the rows. The death was dropped under values because I wanted to aggregate and sum up the number of death. Okay, it's very important to note that. If you want to sum, you want to average, you want to do the standard deviation, you want to find the mean, you want to do so many other things that relates to aggregation. You drop your numerical value, your data that contains numbers, you drop them under where? Values. And by default, your pivot table would sum. So you can see sum of death. You can see sum of what? Death. Okay. So what I'm going to do after doing this is I want to sort from the highest to the lowest. So I'm going to right click on any number under my sum of death. Right click on any number. I go to sort and sort from the largest to the smallest. Okay, so we can clearly see that the cause of death that is prevalent is what? Alcohol liver disease. But again, I don't want to bore my audience with tables like this. I want to visualize so they can see the visual. They can see a chart, a graphical representation of my data. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll go to insert, make sure I'm clicked anywhere inside my pivot table. Go to insert, click on insert, and I'll look for what? I'll look for pivot charts. And I'll click on pivot charts. And from here, I can then select the type of pivot chart that I want to use. For this particular example, I want to use a bar chart. Okay, I'll click on bar. And it has to be a clustered bar chart. So I want a bar chart that is also what? Clustered. So click on that, click on bar charts, click on clustered, and then click on what? Okay. And once I do this, I have my pivot chart. All right. It doesn't look as nice as the first one. And that's because we haven't touched it up a bit. We need to format. We need to make it look better. We need to make it look good. So it's like a lady who just, came out of the bathroom. She needs to do her makeup and all those things, So we're going to make the chart also look a bit better and a bit nicer and, easy on the eyes. So what I'm going to do first of all is I would expand it a bit. So let's close up this pivot chart field. I'll close this up to have more space. I'll make this a little bit, I'll expand it to make it a little bit bigger. All right, something like this. Now, if you notice, it is showing me from the lowest to the highest. And that's the way the bar chart works. The bar chart inverses your categories. So because we have sorted highest to lowest in our table, it would sort it lowest to highest in the chart. You can address this in the chart, okay? But the fastest way of doing this is by sorting it lowest to highest. So if highest to lowest would sort lowest to highest, it means if I sort my table from the lowest to the highest, it would do the reverse for me. So I'll go back to my table, right click, and I'll go back to sort, and I'll say sort from the smallest to the largest, all right? And by doing this, it would reverse my table, my chart, I beg your pardon, and you can see it now shows from the highest to the lowest. There's a way to do this without sorting lowest to highest, and I'll show you if we have enough time. Remind me before we wrap up today. If we have enough time, I'll show you. I'm a bit conscious of our time today. All right. Now the chart is still not looking very good. I'll do something I call less is more. So there's a principle in data visualization, and that principle is called less is more. Okay? Less is more. And what does this principle entail? What does it really say? It simply means that anything that does not add more information, does not make your chart easier to understand, take it out. Any element that does not make your chart easier to understand, take it out. So in data visualization, your focus as an analyst is always on less is more, because simplicity is everything. So the simpler it is, the easier it is for you to understand. Okay, so we're going to work with this principle of less is more. Okay, we work with this principle of less is more. Let me just take this out so it doesn't distract. And I'm going to take out these buttons. So if we look at the charts, you have sum of death, you have individual cause of death description. We don't need these buttons. They are irrelevant. I would right click on any of the buttons and I'll remove what? Or hide. I would hide all fields buttons on charts. Okay, hide all fields buttons. I click on that. It takes out those buttons, very unnecessary. Okay, now I also have total. All the bars are the same colors. So I don't need a total here that has blue as the legend. It doesn't show me anything different. If my bars had multiple colors and you show me one as blue, the other one as green, I can start to see and compare the blue and the green. But I have similar colors. I'm comparing the same type of categories. Okay, so this total becomes redundant. I'll also take it out. I just click on it. Okay, I click on the total and I hit the backspace key on my keyboard and it takes it out completely. All right, so again, I don't need to see every single value because we want to take a decision, remember. So not everything that you have in your data will be relevant for you to take a decision. We want to see the most prevalent causes. So we start from there. If people are dying due to a particular reason, how do we address that challenge? So we don't need to see everything. We need to focus on the core aspects that needs to be focused on. So rather than showing all the causes of death, I want to show the top 5 because that's where we can start from. If there's going to be a policy direction, let's focus on this top 5, okay? So for me to do this, I go back to my pivot table, all right? I click on the drop down and I want to filter for only the top 5. Click on the drop down, I go to my value filters. So once you go to your pivot table, drop down, value filters, I go all the way to the bottom and you see something called top 10. All right, I click on top 10. And because I don't want the top 10, I want the top 5. I'm going to change my 10 to what? 5. I just type in 5 in there. Simple and short. You can also do the bottom 10 if you want to. So rather than having top in here, you can click on the drop down and select what? Bottom. But with the purpose of this exercise, we're going to select what? Top. So top 5, and I click on what? Okay. So it's going to filter this for me. So rather than having everything showing, it shows me just the top 5. Okay. I can change the title and say causes or top 5 causes of death. Top 5 causes of alcohol related death. Remember, anybody who sees this needs to understand what we've done. Okay, so show me just the top 5. The last thing I'm going to do to this chart, remember, less is more. That's the principle. I need to add the specific data labels so that this particular cause of death that has the highest number, I want to see the absolute value. What's the exact number? Okay, so I right click on any of these bars, all right, and I click on what? Add data labels. And once I add my labels, I can see the numbers right in front of each bar. And once I have done this, it means that this axis at the bottom becomes redundant. It's not helping us do anything again. So as data analysts, remember this, take this away from today's session. A data visualization principle you must have at the back of your mind is the principle of less is more. You are not going to consume the charts and your analysis. Your analysis are always meant for stakeholders. You have your audience, either you're presenting in a conference, you're presenting, giving recommendations to your organization. For the gentleman that said he worked with me in the energy sector, you'd understand whenever we have MIS, our performance review sessions, you would present, you talk about what you've done, you talk about the performance of the companies, and you need to be as explicit and as detailed as possible. And simplicity is everything, okay? So taking out the redundant elements, you click on this. I don't need the axis anymore here. I click on that, hit the backspace key, I take it out. I also don't need this vertical axis because this vertical axis were there to show me that if a number here was 20,000, then I can trace it with my eyes. But now I have my values. I know the exact number. I don't need to trace anything anymore. So I click on any of these lines and I hit the backspace key to take it out. Principle of less is more. So my chart looks neater. People can focus on what is necessary by taking out all the irrelevancies. Now, I want somebody to also tell us before we move on, all right? I want somebody to also tell us which particular cause of death is the most prevalent. Of course, it's very obvious, but I would just love to have that, engagement during our session today. So just like the way Nawaz spoke earlier, I would love somebody to speak. The most prevalent cause of death. BC has his hand raised. BC, I think I remember BC, if I'm correct. So BC, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself. Go ahead, BC.
Hi. So the one with the highest level is the alcoholic liver disease, and the least is the alcohol-induced acute pancreatitis. Forgive me, I'm not a medical person. So.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you very much for that, BC. I think, I remember BC has joined our master classes, if I'm correct. Am I correct, BC?
Yeah.
This is not the first.
Yes, I have, and I've registered for the January class.
Absolutely fantastic. Good to have you again, BC.
Thanks.
Brilliant. Okay, so now we can see clearly alcohol liver disease, very, very obvious. Okay, so what we've done is Excel did this for us. The very first question 1, we didn't do anything here. Excel designed this for us. But here we have done this ourselves, and we can even make it, we can make this a lot better in terms of visualization, how visually appealing we can make this chart. Okay. Now, this is question number 2, and BC has told us clearly, alcoholic liver disease. And the least cause of death is what? Alcohol-induced acute pancreatitis. Okay, so we can then see that, oh, look, we need to focus a lot more on this particular area. Mental and behavioral disorders due to use of alcohol is another issue. Let's also focus on this. Okay, now let's quickly, I'm going to title this question 2, right click on it, rename, and title question 2. And let's answer the final question. Okay, at what age are individuals most at risk of dying due to alcohol? Okay, at what age? Remember, we have the age groups in our data set. So this time around, we want to find out at what age. Now, because I want to be fast, I've shown you how to do it manually, how to create this yourself. Okay, I'm just going to go back to my data set and I'll tell Analyze Data to answer this question for me. All right, so I click on Analyze Data, just like I did for the very first question, and we're going to answer question number 3. And like I said, there's no better time to be a data analyst than today. Okay, you don't need to crack your head doing so much. All you need to do is you learn about the principle of less is more, for example. You know principle of proportionality. You know how to highlight the key areas that needs to be focused on. That's the concept of anomaly, and so many other things you learn when you get into the realm of data analytics. So understanding these core principles, the core concepts, how to use the tools, that's all you need. So that when the helpers or your assistants like ChatGPT, Analyze Data, Bard, and the rest, when they do something wrong, you know that, oh, this doesn't look too correct, and you know how to correct it. Let's answer the last question. So I'm going to say simply age group. I'll type in age group. And of course, as I type it, you'd see it drop down here. And I'm just going to click age groups by death, or death by age group, if you will. So I click on age group by death or death by age group. You can use any of the two, you should get the same answer. And of course, hit enter or just click on this to submit your question. Okay, so you can see this time around, it gave you a pivot table. It gave you a what? A pivot table. But I want a chart. So I'll say age group by death, and I'll say colon chart. Okay, so create a chart for me. I don't just want the pivot table. Pivot table is good. Yes, it's helpful. But age group by death, colon chart. And I submit this again. And this time around, you can see the colon chart. All right. And I'm going to click on what? Insert pivot chart. So initially, it did not create a colon chart for me. But when I added that to the question, it created my colon chart. All right. So now I'm just going to click on insert. Okay. And I can see my colon chart. And of course, clearly, I'm going to answer this question myself because of time. Okay. You can see that clearly where you have the problems, or we can also, let's do this. I'm going to, let's try this. I'm going to sort from the age group. So let's sort A to Z from the age group. Yeah, so this looks better in terms of you see where the bars starts to what? Cluster, and how it's also, so you have something that looks like a normal distribution, okay? And you can see clearly that when the older people get, especially from the age of 35 to 39, the number of deaths keeps on increasing. And the highest is when you have 50 to 54 and also 55 to 59. These are the age groups that are mostly at risk. The age groups that are mostly what? At risk. So you start to see from 45 to 49, 50 to 54, 55 to 59, and 60 to 64. So you see these age groups, they are mostly at risk of death due to alcohol. All right. So we've not done anything, I would say, we've not done anything out of fantastic. We've not done anything out of this world. But what have we done? We have answered 3 key questions from a data set that exists, and we can apply the same concept, the same methods to different types of data that we have. All right, the same concept, the same method, and then we apply this to different data sets that we have. So I'm going to label this question 3, and these are the 3 questions that we have. Okay, question number 3. So I can drag my question 2, click on question 2, and I drag it, drop it in the middle. So I have question 1, question 2, question 3. And these are the 3 questions from the data that we have. We've answered the 3 questions very clearly using Excel. Using what? Excel. Where did you go to analyze the data? Simple. So you click on the home the home tab on your Excel ribbon, you see the home tab. If you click on the home tab at the top right corner, at the extreme end, you see the feature analyze data. Like I mentioned earlier, it's not available on every Excel version. Okay, so if you don't find it in yours, just know that you likely don't have it for that particular version. The slides will be sent to you now, as don't worry about that. Okay, so let's get back to the slide. We have about an hour left to wrap up. Like I said, we are done with the very first part. The second part is even more important because this is where people falter and where they find it very difficult to transition. How can you become a data analyst? All right. How do you become a data analyst? So first of all, a data analyst is everything we've done just a few minutes ago. You are responsible for interpreting data. You're responsible for analyzing data. You're responsible for extracting insights to take decisions so the company can take decisions from a data-driven perspective. Okay, now I could have asked the question and everybody would guess, oh, what's the most prevalent cause of alcohol-related death? Some people would say, oh, alcohol liver disease. Other people would have different opinions. But without data, you are just somebody with an opinion. I had that shirt, I think, on Sunday, if I'm correct, on Saturday, because I love to have, those very key quotes that shows you how powerful data is. Without data, you're just another person with an opinion, okay? So when you have data, what does it tell you or what does it mean? It means that you can come up with insights that shows exactly what the story is, all right? And that's who the data analyst is. The data analyst ensures that they generate insights. They convert data that looks like this, and they shape it into something that looks like this. So we can start to take decisions, all right, based on what the data says. So what's the most prevalent alcohol-related disease? How can we start addressing that particular challenge? The age group that are mostly at risk are the 50 to 55, 55 to 59, and so on and so forth. How do we address those people? All right, and that's the role of the data analyst, extracting insights, generating insights from data to help support data-driven decisions. And the data analyst will work mostly on two phases, two parts of the data analytics value chain, the descriptive and the diagnostic. Okay, and you can see that clearly here. Let me just describe a little bit. You can see the descriptive and diagnostic. So the descriptive analytics simply answers the question, what happened? Everything we've done today is answering this question, what happened? How many people died that are within a particular age group? How many people died due to a particular type of cause of disease? And for the different locations, show me the location that has the highest number of deaths. That is what happened. Answering the question, what happened, is simply showing what the data says. Now that you've seen that England has the highest number, the question would then be what? Why? Why does England have the highest number of deaths? Why does alcohol-related disease, or why is alcohol-related disease more prevalent? Or why do we have more 55 to 59 years old or year-old die due to alcohol? Okay, so answering that question, why it happened, why did it happen, is called diagnostic analytics. So you need to know what happened to answer the question why it happened. And that's the role of the data analyst. What happened, why it happened. All right? Descriptive and diagnostic analytics. That's you as a data analyst. Okay? I'm going to take out this. And of course, as a data analyst, you earn fantastic amounts of salary across different regions. And people always ask me, oh, how about people in Nigeria? Are you yanking us off? Are we irrelevant in the scheme of things? But absolutely not. You have to compare yourself looking at the major economies. Okay. If I get a job in the UK, I'm not going to become it. Yes, I can be a data analyst, focus on a particular region and do all the amazing work I need to do. But then again, I need to know that I can compete for the best jobs available in the major economies, all right? So in the UK, you're earning about £40,000, in Canada, about $64,000 per annum on the average, and in the US, about 72,000 US dollars. And what are those skills? The key learning areas. Number one is problem solving. And this is where people have issues. Okay, they don't know what to learn, and they learn everything. I've been there myself. I've done it. Learned things. I've learned tools I've never used for once while I worked as a data analyst. I've never used for once. I only use those tools just to practice at my own or solving personal projects, you know, but I've never had to use it in the business context, helping any company do anything, never. But I learned those things because I didn't know what to learn. I was learning everything I could lay my hands on, and that was a waste of time, okay? You don't want to waste time. You want to know what exactly to learn. Problem solving, number one. And problem solving, why is this important? As a data analyst, you are there because you want to help to answer questions, and you want to help to what? Solve problems. So you need to know how to even define a problem. What's the problem statement? Is this the root cause? What's the root cause of this problem? Am I solving the symptoms, or I'm solving the exact problem itself? So you're going to look at different tools and techniques for problem solving. You look at the McKinsey model, how to break problems into multiple parts. You look at the 5 whys, you know, asking questions 5 times until you're able to get to the root cause, the prioritization matrix. What should I prioritize? What's important and urgent? You look at all those different concepts. You look at the CRISP DM framework to solving data analytics related projects. And that's why problem solving is absolutely critical for a data analyst. And then you have to learn Excel. We use Excel today. And Excel, I think, is one of the most underrated tools, but one of the most fantastic. You'll be shocked that even in the major companies, a lot of the things you solve as a data analyst can be done using Excel. A lot of your day-to-day activities would be solved using Excel. And Excel is that tool that helps you handle data, analyze, summarize easily. You saw what we've done with Pivot Table, and that's just scratching the surface of what you can do with tools like Excel. Of course, you learn SQL, structured query language, SQL, structured query language. And this is a language that helps you do what? Interact with databases. Companies would have their data in a database. They won't have their data in Excel files. They'll have their data in a database, and you need to know how to what? You need to know how to extract, how to interact with that database, and so on. All right. You'd also learn Power BI for data visualization and business intelligence. Like I mentioned earlier, we've solved the same problem before, but that time around we used what? Power BI. This time we've used Excel to test and see how we can answer some questions using that same data. Power BI is a fantastic tool that helps you build end-to-end business intelligence reports that gives you insights on decisions to take without having to analyze over and over again. So from your extracting the data, wherever the data is, to transforming the data, building your data models, and then analyzing and visualizing in a dashboard format. So something like this, like I showed you earlier. Okay, I think something like this. Just pardon me, let me show you this very quickly. Something like this dashboard that you have here, okay? How do I create this and create it once without having to create it again? So even if more data is added, all I need to do is update my visualization. I don't have to create it again. And that's what Power BI helps you do. All right. Tableau as well. Tableau is another fantastic tool for business intelligence and also for data analytics. You're going to learn Tableau so that you understand how to use Power BI and Tableau. They fall within the same realm. And people will tell you that, look, if you know Tableau, you don't need Power BI. If you know Power BI, you don't need Tableau. But it's best for you to know the two, because that widens your opportunities. And of course, you also need to learn data storytelling, how to tell a story from the data that you have. What do you want people to focus on? Because they can't focus on everything. So you learn how to pick those specific areas you want more focus and the decision you want people to take. And you tell your story based on that. You're going to learn ChatGPT for analytics. Like I mentioned, ChatGPT is one of the fantastic tools you ever get to use as a data analyst. And of course, you learn Microsoft Fabric for analytics. So Microsoft Fabric is a comprehensive all-in-one platform that contains different materials, fabric materials, that's what they're called. You can do data engineering, data science, data analytics. You can create data lakes, all in the same platform. So in terms of collaboration, in terms of sharing and having a shared workspace, Fabric does a fantastic job. And a lot of organizations are switching and using Microsoft Fabric. And that's why you having the skill in Fabric makes you stand out among your peers. Okay, so these are the skills you need to become a data analyst. And how long can it take you to learn these skills? 4 months, 3 months project-based classes, project-based classes. So your classes are project-based. You work on projects to solve problems. Your very first class on Excel, you learn the concept, you work on a project. Learn another concept, you work on a project. And these projects, they do one thing for you. They help to solidify the skills that you have. So when you get into an interview to apply for a role in the NHS, we have so many people working in medical related roles, and they've never ever been doctors or worked or have any degree or any degree in medicine, but they work in medical related fields. Why? Because they have worked on projects similar to what we've done this evening. Alcohol related death due to malaria, and so many other things, social related projects that has to do with medicine. You work on those type of projects with real life data, and you can speak confidently when you get into an interview. These are the things I saw. You start to sound very intelligent when you say that the major cause of death due to alcohol in the UK, based on the analysis I ran, is caused by what? Alcohol liver disease, or all those other fancy names that you saw. You start to talk about them, and people would look at you and say, this gentleman or this lady must be very, very intelligent to do this, and so on. So 3 months project-based classes, and then you have 1 month internship. So you have a 4 months learning journey, and the internship helps you to do what? Build a portfolio. So all the projects you've worked on, plus the project you're going to work on during the internship, where you'd work with other team members who are not data analysts. You're going to work with data scientists, with data engineers, and you work on a project that you'd add to your portfolio. So everybody has their own respective task. The data engineers would what? Get the data and put in a particular data warehouse. The data analysts would then go into that data warehouse, get the data, and start to do their own analysis. The business analyst is the one supervising the project itself, managing the project, and all, and so on and so forth. So it's a collaborative experience, and the reason is to give you that real life work experience, because you're never going to work alone as a data analyst. Never. You'd work in a team, and you'd have other counterparts, your contemporaries in your organization, that you'd have to work with at some point. So you start to learn that right from the class. Okay, and if you have your phone, your mobile, take a screenshot of this page. And if you are ever asked, what does it take to become a data analyst? You have the right answers to give them. All right, we've talked about this already, turning data into visuals and to help answer key questions. All right, and once you complete the program, what career path can you move into? And of course, this is just to mention a few. There are so many other career paths. You have the data analyst. You can apply to jobs as a data analyst, marketing analyst, product analyst, operations analyst. I worked as an MIS analyst, MIS. I don't like to call it MIS because it was a data analyst role, but the title was what? MIS analyst. And who are MIS analysts? These are analysts that analyze data and report to the leaders in the organization, the directors, the owners of the company. So it's like management reporting. Okay, what you're doing is what? Management reporting. Okay, so you have so many titles. Some people would see the title MIS and they'll be like, oh, I've not seen this one before. What I learned is data analytics. I don't know what MIS is. And these are the things we show you during the job application process. So you know the type of jobs to apply to and why you need to apply to those jobs. So business intelligence analyst, sales analyst, logistic analyst, supply chain analyst, and so on and so forth. All right. Again, the reason why people struggle, which is one of the major reasons why we are here today. All right. You have so many people that struggle. I've gotten tons and tons of emails. Hello, Adeza, I want you to mentor me, or I want to join the Tenalytics community because I can't seem to get a job. And when I engage people like this, I start to see the reason why they can't. Okay. I start to see the reason why they can't. And the reason is very simple. Number one, you have not learned in a structured manner. Okay. You don't know how to connect the dots. You don't know how Excel and SQL connects. You don't know how Excel and Power BI connect. Okay. So you have learned without a structured learning approach, which is not bad in itself. It's good when you already have the skills. It's bad when you're trying to transition because you're going to learn so many things here and there. Okay. So people don't have the required skill because they don't have or they haven't learned in a structured learning, in a structured approach, and they find learning a bit difficult. And I've engaged them. People have come to us to say, I only want the project. I only want to get a job. I don't want to join the training because I'm already good with Excel. And we give them a project on Excel and they can't solve those projects. Okay. So that's a fundamental problem people have. All right. And that's one problem a lot of you would also have. No structured learning. You've learned this X and Y on YouTube. You've learned Y and Z on Coursera. You've learned this here and there. I've done the same. And I have a ton of so many things here and there that were really not helpful to me transitioning eventually. Until I had a structured learning approach, I knew what I needed to learn. I knew where I was going to, and that was how I was able to make that transition eventually. Secondly, no proof of work, no projects, no portfolio, no proof. Now, before at the end of today's session, a lot of you would do this. You'd go on LinkedIn and you type Adeza Suleiman. Who is this gentleman? Who is he really? What does he really do? You do that. There is social proof of what I do. If you type Tenalytics, you'd see Adeza, founder of Tenalytics, FMNA, co-founder. All the people that have joined us that are doing amazing stuff on LinkedIn, people that have gotten jobs, you'd see them pop out. That's social proof. You want to get a job as a data analyst. Do you have social proof? If I type your name on LinkedIn, do I see things related to data analytics? If I ask for your projects, do you have a link to show me your GitHub profile that has all the projects you've worked on? So if you don't have social proof, how do you get a job? How will a potential recruiter see that you really can do this job? Because you've done it before. You've solved projects, you've used advanced type of functions, you've created advanced visualizations that shows that you have the knowledge. So social proof is also very, very important. And this is one of the reasons why people struggle and they don't get jobs. All right. Last but not the least is you don't have work experience on your CV, and you also don't have interviewing skills. You are very bad during interviews. You don't know how to answer questions. You don't know how to structure your answers in a logical manner. You would struggle to get a job. That's the reality, because you'll be competing with the best of the best. Technically, it's a given. You're expected to have the technical skill, but the other skill, like interviewing, is something that you must groom. You must know how to interview. You must know how to introduce yourself. You must know how to talk about the projects that you have worked on. You must have a portfolio. There must be proof of work that you've done this before. And these are the reasons why people don't get jobs. Major reasons why they don't get jobs. And this is based on my own extensive interactions, questions, interviewing people, getting to help people prepare for jobs, and so on and so forth. These are the reasons why they don't get jobs. And I'll tell you this story very quickly before I move to the next slide. there's this gentleman, I talked about it on Saturday last week. This gentleman who had been out of job since February, okay? He had always worked as a business analyst, BA. Now, he came to us and said, look, I want to join Tenalytics because I want to get a job. I'm in the UK, I've been out of work, and you know how difficult it can be, you know, not having a source of income in the UK. I said, fine, let me see your CV and let's see how we can work with you. At that time, the cohort had already started. So I told him that, look, the discount is off. If you have to join eventually, you'd have to make the full payment. He said, no problem. I'm going to make the full payment today, as long as you allow me join the program. He joined, right? That was around August or thereabouts. He recently just got a job in one of the energy, in the energy industry, an energy-related company here in the UK. The name of the company is called U Energy, YU Energy in the UK. Now, what did he do differently? This is somebody who, until he joined us in August, since February, he had applied to everywhere, but he couldn't get a job. What did he do? Number one, add data analytics to your CV. Number two, create a portfolio of projects on Excel, on Power BI, and SQL. And number three, his CV was nothing to write home about. We looked at it together, worked on it, and he had a good CV. Interestingly, he had no LinkedIn profile. So of course, he had to create one at that point in time, and he kept on applying. And like I said, he's gotten a job today. So getting a job is beyond your understanding, beyond you having a technical understanding in that particular area, far more than that. And that's what has made us very successful. Okay, I'm going to talk about some people who have gotten jobs here and there, and I'll show you our YouTube profile. So you can go to our YouTube page to also listen to fantastic individuals. Okay, I'll come back to places, but this is Oluwatosin. Oluwatosin got a job as a fraud analyst after completing our data analytics program. What does it do? It prevents credit card fraud. It helps to prevent what? Credit card fraud. You have Ikmat. Ikmat works with the NHS as a data analyst, full-time visa sponsorship. She was out of work for a very long time, wanted to come back into the workspace, joined Tenalytics, brushed up her skills, learned data analytics, and today she works with the NHS. You have Oluwatoyin, you have Olugbemi. Olugbemi recently just got a second job as a solutions analyst. It's one of the largest insurance companies in Canada. I would love to tell you Olugbemi's story. And what I would do for those who are currently in our program, all right, we are bringing Olugbemi back to speak to them next week, Thursday, during their mentorship session. Olugbemi started his journey in April 2022. April 2022. That was when his data analytics journey started. Okay, he joined us, completed the program, and he got this first job as a business data analyst for the Law Depot. All right. Last month, he got a second job as a solutions analyst. Olugbemi went from 0 to 6 figures in less than a year, or in just about a year. 0 to 6 figures. And for anybody in Canada, you know what it takes to earn 6 figures in Canada. Okay. And interestingly, he's even considering doing the 2 jobs. That's keep the job as a business data analyst and also take this job as a solutions analyst. But when we had the conversation, we saw that, look, the job description is likely going to overwhelm you. Take the one that gives you the best remuneration and the best growth, which is the solutions analyst role. And during the session, he was saying that, look, if anybody had told me that within the space of a year, I can get to this level, I'd have said it's impossible. But that's Olugbemi's reality. You have the link here to listen to Olugbemi, okay? He had something fantastic to say about the role Tenalytics played in helping him transition into this space in Canada, okay? And that's what has made us super special. The reason why we are successful is all the things I've said. This year alone, we've helped over 850 people to transition across our different programs, from data analytics to business analysis, to data engineering, to financial analytics, HR analytics, and so on and so forth. All right. And this is helping them get their first jobs within the tech ecosystem across different regions. And how have we been able to do this? What has made us so successful? All right. Number one is the curriculum. Number one is what? The curriculum. Okay. So what does it take? And this is where people ask me questions that I usually find very silly. And I'll tell you the reason why I find those questions silly. The question goes like this: can I become a data analyst within the space of 4 months? All right. Now, I asked the question, but how long do you think it should take? Do you want to learn for a year, for 2 years, for 3 years? You do another BSc? What do you think it takes? And what it takes really is simply knowing or having a comprehensive curriculum to follow. Okay? Having a comprehensive curriculum. All right? These are the things I need to know to become a data analyst. These are the things I must know how to do on day one of my job. Okay? Power BI gets updated every single month. So the Power BI you learn this month, next month you have new features, new things, and that's how the tech ecosystem works. It moves very fast. So learning is a lifelong journey. You're always going to keep on learning new things every single time. But if you keep on learning forever, at what point do you apply to get a job? So you need an up-to-date curriculum that shows you that these are the things you need to focus on. Learn these things and you can transition into becoming a data analyst. And of course, the experts we have, their experience to help you navigate the journey. And we have somebody on the call who is going to speak with you. He joined our program, I think, in September, if I'm correct. John, please just let me know. I'm going to bring him in to speak. Okay, he's here to also share his own story and also let you know how he's joined Tenalytics, how he's been able to get a job. His name is Biola Oladepo. Okay, I'm going to bring him in shortly. All right. So you have professionals who have done all the things you're trying to do. They've gone ahead of you. They've seen the mistakes you're likely going to make, and they can help you walk that same path more efficiently without having those issues. It's a blended delivery. We have a blended delivery approach. You don't learn every day, like the way you go for lectures. You go for lectures Monday to Friday just to write exams at the end of the day that are not relevant to you solving any problem for any company. Okay? So you're learning by working on projects. On Saturdays and Sundays, you have something we call the Watch Me Do It videos. And these videos are bite-sized videos that helps you learn different concepts by watching those videos. And you get to implement and put them to practice on Saturdays when you have your live class. All right? Additional employability services. Like I mentioned, I hinted on this in the previous slide. The technical job, the technical skill or the technical knowledge alone would not get you the job. You need a little bit more than that. Okay, and I'll speak about the additional employability skills. And last but not the least, internship that are designed to simulate the real world experience. So what we've done, taking my experience, taking Efemina's experience, the co-founder, taking so many other industry experts' experience across different sectors. All the projects we've worked on, we designed case studies around them. Okay, so you get to also experience the same thing that we did while we worked in those industries. And that's how you simulate the real world as a data analyst. So this is not fictitious data. This is data simulated with the real world and gives you that level of experience. And at the end of the day, you are an industry-ready data analyst because you know the right things to say during an interview. You have the right type of portfolio with the right type of projects and so on and so forth. Okay. Just before I bring in Biola to speak, we have decided in 2024, and we've done this ever since we started operations in the year 2020. Okay, so this is our third year of our operations, and going into 2024 would make it our fourth year. And we've consistently improved on our curriculum and delivery. And part of the ways we help you to achieve this and additional value that we bring to the table is layered in 3 approaches. Okay, and the first approach is, for you to get a job, you must do all the things on this level, level 1. And level 1 entails CV review sessions, LinkedIn optimization, Upwork optimization, navigating the job market, interview preparation, and recommendation and reference letters. Okay? You can't get recognized by a company if you have a very terrible CV. If your CV does not pass or beat the ATS system, you're not going to get called. And one of the things you want is you need to get your foot in the door, get an interview. The moment you start to get interviews, you know that the job is very close. So that's what we focus on, all the things that would help you get that interview. And once you've done that, we work with you during the interview preparation to help you get the job. And of course, your CV is always your representation in paper format. So you must look good on CV, on paper, just like the way you look good as well in your technical skill. LinkedIn optimization, like the gentleman I told you struggled to get a job. He had no LinkedIn profile. And that's a crime as a professional. You should have a LinkedIn profile. Okay? If you're trying to get a job, you're trying to transition. So having that LinkedIn formed part of the reasons why he got the job eventually. Okay, so we're going to help you build your LinkedIn if you don't have one already. If you have one, we optimize for you. Some of you would want to work remotely, work on freelance jobs, and so on and so forth. Work as freelancers, digital nomads. So you want to get jobs that would help you, work on those projects at a time. And you can do that with Upwork. And we're going to help you set up your Upwork profile or optimize the one that you already have. Navigating the job markets. How do you understand? In the UK, for example, you'd see that there are so many things happening within the space. All right. Number of immigrants are reducing. Care jobs are gone. For those who always wanted to focus on care jobs, they are fizzling them out little by little. Now, you're going to have fewer numbers of people coming into the UK. What does that mean? It means that there are more opportunities for those in the country that have the right skills to apply and take those jobs that become available within the data space as data analyst, BI analyst, business data analyst, and so on and so forth. Okay. Job and interview preparation, prepare you for your interviews. And if you have a job, you've gotten a job and you need that soft landing, you are working on a project that you find very difficult or you're not sure what to do. All right. We help you have that soft landing by working with you to ensure that for the first 1 month on that job, we work with you so you have a soft landing. And organizations would always want to find out who do you associate with, who knows you, who can vouch for you. And that's where our references always comes in. For anybody you see on our brochure, on our flyers that have gotten a job, the organization all reached out to us to provide references for those individuals. The video that played just before we started from Idris at DBC, he got a job as a data engineer in February this year. Last month in November, Idris moved from a data engineering role with Jaguar Land Rover to a senior analytics engineering role. And before he got confirmed, the company reached out to me. Adeza, when will you be available? We would like to know about Idris, and we want to speak with you. For the first time, I was surprised. They set up a video call where they asked questions. Oh, how best do you think we can manage this particular, gentleman, Idris? What are Idris's strengths, his weaknesses? But it was a video call, which I found very interesting. And these are organizations wanting to confirm that they're hiring the right people. And that's where we come in to provide you with top-notch references. The level 2, once you've done all the level 1, is the weekly mentorship sessions and the on-the-job support. All right, so here you need that constant mentorship. You need somebody to ask questions. You need somebody to provide you with insights that you are not likely going to get anywhere else except for those working within that same space that you're trying to move into. Okay, and this is level 2. And our proposition to you, our value proposition for the year 2024 is the level 3, where our promise is a guaranteed job interview. 1 month after completing your training, anywhere you want to get this interview. You want to get an interview in the US, in the UK, in Canada. Where do you want to get your interview? Within a month after completing your program. And the reason why this is very important is because the moment you get an interview, the job is very, very close, because we're going to work with you and ensure that you say the right things, you do the right things during that interview to secure the job. All right. And that's our promise to you, which is the final level of how we prepare you or position you for the job market. Talked about the internship. This is where you work on real life projects for 1 month, honing your skills. And also you have a project, and experts who would review your projects and give you feedback. Okay. So the new additions, and I'm going to bring in Biola after I speak about the new additions. If you had joined our masterclass in October, in November, you would have likely not seen this. Okay, so we are adding new initiatives for the year 2024, and this is in line with the changes in the market, in the job market. All right. And number 1 is a body mentorship. What is the body mentorship? Now, somebody like Olubemi, who started in April 2022, November 2023, Olubemi is earning 6 figures with one of the largest insurance companies in Canada, Edmonton. How did he do it? Okay, you can sit down and listen to me all day, but if you listen to Olubemi, somebody who has done exactly what you're trying to do in the last 1 year, it's easier for you to relate to him. So we are bringing back our alumni that have gotten jobs in your chosen career, and they become your buddies. You can ask them questions. They can guide you on what to do. All right, that's number 1 initiative. Number 2, we are enhancing our internship experience. And I hinted about that already, told you that you get to work in a team of different professionals working to achieve the same goal. You'd have an internship coordinator assigned to you. You can have meetings, you can ask questions, and you have that support all through your internship. It's transformative. That's a new initiative we are implementing in 2024. And lastly, how do we guarantee you an interview, irrespective of where you are? We are working on partnerships with recruitment agencies in the UK, in Canada, like Robert Half, for example, in Canada, Hayes in the UK, and so on and so forth. We are also working with Korn Ferry in the US to ensure that Korn Ferry in the UK, they are in the UK, they're also in the US, to help you get those interviews, to help you get those jobs. So you have a pipeline, a Tenalytics pool of talents, and these agencies funnel you to the respective companies. That's what we are proposing for the year 2024. All right. So the new cohort starts on the 6th of January, 2024. And just before I talk about the new cohorts, the timing, the dates, and so on, and the price of the data analytics program, I would love to bring in Biola. Okay, so Biola, if you're still here, I'm just going to ask you to unmute yourself. You can also put on your video, and let's get to hear your own Tenalytics experience. All right.
Hello, Adiza. Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Hi, Biola. Seems like you're out. Let me stop sharing so that
Yes, I'm in transit actually. So, but Joanne already told me that I'll speak. So I want to appreciate you especially for all you're doing. And for those who are listening this night, I want to tell you that I'm a living testimony to all you've been hearing since. I'm an accountant in Nigeria, and I wanted to be a better person on the job. I want to be someone that you can always look up to and be better than my peers. So I enrolled for data analytics cohort in September. Even before September, I've joined series of your master classes, and I enjoyed it, and I've referred people, but it would be better for me to at least let me be a better person on, even if you have maybe like 5 of my type of person on the same job role. I want to be that distinct person. So that's one of the reasons why I enrolled for the program in September. And, lo and behold, I got job interviews, I think after September, October 30 to be precise. And that was my second job interview in the UK. The very first one was a mess. You understand? I would not want to say I misbehaved. You understand? I wanted to, let me say, maybe from the employer's point of view, because when they sent me their review, I was surprised. But when I listened to the mentorship session, there are some things I picked from this mentorship session, and I tried to work on my CV. I reviewed my CV, used the right format, and I sent it on Indeed and some other job, databases here. And before you know it, people were calling me. But I did something. I saw a recruiter and I called him that I just finished postgraduate studies and I would like to even, maybe get an opportunity to just showcase myself. And he was like, okay, what's your visa tenure? I said, my visa expires in January, but you can give it a try. Just let me send my CV. He said, oh, you have limited time. Okay, send your CV. Let me just have a look at it. The following day, he called me, said, oh, you have an impressive CV. Let us give it a try. You have only 4 months to expiration of your CV, but let's just give it a try. And before you know it, he said, okay, this company will be willing to employ you. The pay is between 38,000 and 40,000 pounds. And that I should disregard the fact that maybe I was a senior person when I was in Nigeria. This is a new terrain in Nigeria because I work for an accounting firm. We use IFRS in Nigeria. They use UK GAAP here. So forget your IFRS, join the system. If you're able to prove yourself, maybe in about 6 months, they will upgrade you. So he set me up for an interview himself. I was able to impress him. Then the next stage, they brought 2 managers from Baker Tilly International to interview me. And, it was like I was lecturing them, actually. You understand? So, but thereafter, I learned something in the mentorship session, because most times when we go for interview, we don't want to ask questions. Do you have any questions for us? They say, no, I'll be fine. So when they said, do you have any question for us? I said, yes, I have some questions for you. First and foremost, I would like to know what software you use. They told me. Then I said, okay, based on our conversation so far, I would like to know if you have any concern as to my ability to perform in the role you want to employ me for. And they were like, no. Even from their own assessment, they would say maybe I overqualified, but they will push me to the next level that I'll hear from them before the end of the week. And, that was it. The following week, they sent, the consultant called me if I would be available. I should pick one date out of the 3 dates the partner offered, because the partner I'll be reporting to directly, that the partner would like to meet. So I picked one of the dates and I met the partner. He sat me down. It was like a conversation, because from the report he's gotten from the 2 interview sessions I had there before that. And it was more of conversation, asking me, okay, what are my values and stuff like that. But if I didn't attend your mentorship session, and I just want to encourage everybody on this call tonight, please, as much as you can, if you have to borrow money, I'm not trying to sell analytics, but there is value for your money. I am telling you. I have referred people, and I can assure you that I have somebody that will join you also in this January cohort. I want to encourage you. You see, tech is the next thing. I'm telling you, tech is the next thing. Whether we like it or not, in whatever roles we are at the moment, it can even make you a better person in your current job. And that's an opportunity for you to even renegotiate with your employer. But you also have to be determined. We have to be determined, because sometimes the timing, mentorship session, all these, most especially people in Nigeria, we talk about data. We don't have money to buy data, stuff like that. I'm telling you, it's a worthwhile investment. It's a worthwhile investment. I didn't know I would join I would join Baker Tilly International. I was just, let me just get something doing. And for those who will be looking at maybe coming to the UK for postgraduate studies, don't waste your money. I'm telling you, if you invest 1 million naira in analytics to get this knowledge, you would, don't waste your 18,000 pounds. I want to assure you, because they only teach you theory, nothing. I studied accounting and data analytics in University of Portsmouth. They will come tell you about a Tableau. It's just no dashboard, nothing. But here you can call, you have class coordinator that you can disturb. You have all the lecturers that you can trouble anytime. You have their numbers. They will always be on the same WhatsApp group with you. So I'm not, I don't want to say too much, but it's a worthwhile investment. You won't waste your money. You will not waste your money. Yeah, so let's give it a try for those of us that are willing to take it up. I just want to encourage us. It's worth it. It's worth it, honestly. Thank you, Adiza, once more. Thank you, Ifemina. Thank you, Joanne. Thank you to every member of my cohort, September cohort. It was like a joke. We started like a joke, and here we are. We are dealing with our own the projects now, because usually we have to do the project. But I want to tell you, I have been busy because I joined. I just started new role. It's been training and training and training all along. But I want to enjoin everybody. Don't joke with any of the sessions, whether the mentorship session or CV review session or whatever. And don't be shy. If you don't know anything, ask questions. For me, people don't hear me in class because I'm a very quiet person, but I will always be in the background and I follow everything. So I just want to encourage you guys. God will help us, all of us, but it's a worthwhile investment. I must tell you guys. Yeah.
Fantastic, brilliant, Biola. Thank you very much for taking our time. I see you're currently, in transit, but you still took out time to speak. And that's the beauty of having people like you. So, Biola, I've taken down your details, okay? We're going to reach out to you, be a buddy, to join our body system we talked about, okay? So you help other people who are possibly in the UK. Biola, how exactly did you do it? What do you think I can do? So they have somebody they can relate with easily. But I mean,
let me give you one other shocking story. I referred a friend. She's in I think she's in October cohort. She's in Glasgow. She's gotten a job. She will start by January. She got a job as I think something finance, corporate finance role. She will start by January, and she's enjoying her sessions too. So I just want to see. It's not like I'm trying to sweet talk people into this, but it's worth it. Honestly, it's worth it. When I came to the UK, I started with a care job because at least you need to survive. But now, I don't want to do care again because for your dignity and stuff like that, these are things that people like us should not be doing. But you have to survive when you come into the country newly. But, To the glory of God, I thank Tenalytics today and for this, rare opportunity. So I want to encourage everybody. If I have the opportunity to sponsor people, I will do that. I'm telling you. So please, guys, invest your money, and I'm telling you, you will not regret it. Yeah, there are returns for your investments. Worthwhile returns.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for that, Biola. Fantastic.
You're
Like we
welcome.
always tell, care is a survival job. Okay.
Yeah.
So yes,
Yeah.
you can do that for the meantime, but you should upskill yourself. So at the end of the
Definitely.
day, move, onto higher things and better career path and so on. Once again,
Yeah.
thank you very much, Biola, for taking our time.
You're
joining
welcome.
us.
You're welcome.
It's a pleasure
You're
having
welcome.
you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, you're welcome. Talk to you some other time.
All right then. Take care. Cheers. All right. So we've seen Biola. You've heard Biola's story. In fact, Biola is never on my slide as one of the people that have gotten, jobs with us. And he talked about something very key during the mentorship. One thing you would learn or you would gain when you join us is confidence. Okay. You're not going to go into an interview and not ask questions. You're going to go into an interview and tell them how you are worth £60,000, $100,000. You're going to get that level of confidence. You're also going to know that it's very important how to engage, how to answer questions, and so on and so forth. Just like Biola said, you heard Biola's story himself. I mean, that's absolutely phenomenal. All right. I'm going to quickly just wrap up and I'll just talk about the payments. I'll talk about the duration. So Biola, for example, how long did Biola have to learn? Okay. How much did Biola have to pay and so on and so forth. So I'm going to share my screen and let's wrap that up and then I'll take questions and then we call it a day. All right. So our next cohort starts on the 6th of January, 2024. And for those who want to be a part of the program, we currently have a discount. We've had this discount run before a new program starts, okay? So the original fee to join the program is $750 to join the data analytics program. However, we have a discount for you and I'll be showing you that discount shortly. So it's a 4 months learning journey, all right? 3 months project-based live classes. You're going to work on a capstone project and then you have a 1 month internship. Now, for somebody like Biola, who is in the UK, or somebody like any other participants in Nigeria or around Europe that have a similar time zone, you have a class that fits your schedule. So we have a class that starts 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time. Okay. And for those in the UK, 11 a.m. is 10 a.m. right now. So 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. if you're in the UK or some other regions across Europe, but it's similar time zones, right? And if you are in the US or Canada, you can't possibly join a class that starts at 11 a.m. because that's around 5 a.m., 4 a.m. your time. So we have another class in the evening that starts at 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. Sorry, that's 4 p.m. to 7, not 10, because it's 3 hours. Okay, so that's an error. It's 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. West Africa time. So if you're in the US, you're in Canada, you have the opportunity to join a class that fits your own schedule. And for anybody who wants to be in the evening class, you can always be in there at your own convenience and so on and so forth, okay? And these are the live classes. On Sundays, it's more flexible. It's more self-paced. You don't have to join a live class on Sunday. It's a watch me do it session. All right, so you're going to watch a video from myself or from Femena or from some other industry experts explaining concepts to you. And you can break those videos into different days or different days during the week. So you watch a part on Sunday and you get to watch the other parts from Monday until Friday. So that on Saturday, you are getting into class working on another project. So this is how your learning roadmap is designed. Okay, and what's the discount? The discount is simple. So rather than paying $750 to be a part of the program, you get a $150 discount, all right, to pay only $600. And this discount is for the first 20 people who get to register from this session. All right. And you can also make your payments in 2 installments, $450, $150. So you pay the $450, get into the class, pay $150 1 month after the program commences. Okay. And you're paying in pounds instead of paying £625, which is the original fee, you get to pay £500. $375 the first payment, and then $125 for the second payment. And if you're paying that in Naira, it's just a simple conversion. 720,000 is the discounted amount, 540 for the first payment, and then 180 1 month before the program commences. All right. Now, you join the program, just like you heard all the things Biola said, the interview prep, the mentorship sessions, the CV review sessions, where you get to see all these things and you know exactly how to position yourself. You go into the interview and you're basically lecturing them, telling them this is what it is, this is my value. And at the end of the day, you get a job. I should have asked Biola how much he's going to pay. You know, he should come pay his tithes to Tenalytics for getting that job eventually. You know, at over £40,000 in the UK, which is pretty decent for his salary. First job in the UK. And I can bet you in the next few months, Biola will be telling you he's currently close to 100,000. And that's the way it works. It's called job hopping. You stay on the job for 6-8 months, you move to another job and negotiate a higher salary. All right. So this is what it takes, the investment you need to make in yourself. And let me tell you what happens. We had a session on Saturday, the 9th. Between Saturday and today, in that session that we had, all the discounted slots are gone. Okay, all the discounted slots are gone. But for this particular session, we have other discounts open to you. So you want to be a part of the program, take advantage of the discount and get yourself registered. Now, people would ask questions, and I'll just try to answer as many questions before you even ask. So that reduces the number of questions you have. All right. Now, if the first payment you need to make is $450 if you're paying in dollars, for example, or £375 if you're paying in pounds. What you can do is secure your discount slots. You don't have to make the full $450 payment, the full $375 payment, or the full $540 payment, but secure your slots by making a first payment to show that, look, my discount is secured. Because once we get to 20, the discount is off the table. All right. You secure your discount. And then before the class starts on the 6th of January, 2024, you get to make the full payment. So let's take, for example, $375. Okay. You pay $250. Maybe today, for example, secure your discount. And then before the 6th of January, you get to pay $125. All right. And that forms the full $375. And then you get into the class. And 1 month after, you get to balance the second payment. So how do you make payments? I'm quickly just going to show you that. And then I'll take your questions and then we'll wrap it up for today. Okay. So all you need to do, you see the link, the main stack link. That's the link you click on that takes you to how to make payments. So it doesn't matter where you are across the globe. You are in Germany, you are in Russia, you are in Switzerland, you are in the US, you are in Barbados. It doesn't matter. You can either make payments in Naira or you can make payments in other currencies. If you are going to make payments in Naira, all you have to do is you go to the Naira payments. Okay, well, let's start from the non-Naira payment first of all. So let's assume you're not paying in Naira, you're paying in dollars or pounds or euros and so on. All you have to do is what? Click. You'd see the data analytics, right? For data analytics, you can either click on full payments or part payments. So let's assume I want to make a part payment. Based on what Adeza has said, I want to join the data analytics program today. I click on part payment and this opens up the main stack payment page. All right. I'm just going to wait for that to load and I'll show you how you need to make payment, which is pretty straightforward. Okay, so I wait for the Tenalytics main stack to load. And once that is done loading, all I have to do is I can pay a minimum amount. All right, I can pay a minimum amount of £207.5. pounds. So you see that there. And depending on where you are, if you're in Nigeria, it's going to show you the Naira. If you are in Ghana, it will show you the cedis or dollars or thereabouts, okay? So I don't need to make the full 375, like I mentioned. I can pay 200 pounds to, I have to pay more than the minimum. So let's say I pay 200 or 210. I pay 210 today. Okay, so I enter 210, I click on reserve. Okay, I enter my email, I enter my phone number, and then I click on proceed. It's going to ask you for your, your credit card details or your debit card. You enter that and you get to make your payments. Okay, if it's the full payment, it's even more straightforward. All you have to do, click on the full payment and you make the full payments depending on where you are. I'll show you how to make the Naira payment as well, okay? If you are in Nigeria or even outside the country, but you want to make payments in Naira. So you can see it's even less than 500 pounds. So what happens is, as the dollar to the pound rate fluctuates, the rates on the platform also fluctuate. So on my slide, it says 500 pounds, correct? But today, because of the rates, is 498. So you can take advantage of this and reserve before it gets to 500. So you are saving £2. That's another discount, additional discount, okay? So that's how you get to make payments. But now, what if I'm paying in Naira? Okay, I go to the Naira payments. I can see so many activities in the chart. I'll come to that in a bit. Naira card payments, we collect payments using Paystack in Naira, okay? So you see the Paystack for all programs in Naira. I click on full or first part payments, and then I select data analytics. Okay, so you see the data analytics program. I click on that. I click on the data analytics and I can select if I want to make payments in full or I want to make payments or I want to make part payments. Okay. Okay, so there you go. All I need to do is choose from here full payments and I make the full payment, or I click on this and make the part payment and I can make the part payment, add to bag. I go to checkout, enter my card details, and then I get to make payments. Now, let's assume I can't pay the 540 today, which is the first part payment. You can also do a direct transfer if you can, all right, to our bank account. So you have the bank accounts as well. And I'm just going to show you that for direct transfer, okay? So you have the direct, this is our UK bank account. And then we have the Naira bank account. So if I can't pay the 540, which is the first payment, I want to pay something today, secure my discount, and make the balance before the program starts. I can send the payment to this Fidelity Bank account, okay? So the link is available on the slide. My colleagues would also send it in the chat, so you can get the link and take advantage, be a part of the first payments, first 20 people to make payments to join the program, all right? Last thing I'll show you is once you've made payments, you have your receipts, which will be sent to your email automatically. All you need to do is come here and upload your receipts, okay? Click on this link, it takes you to a form. You fill the form, your details, your name, your first name, the program you have selected, and so on and so forth, okay? And there is another option that sets you up for a one-on-one session with myself or with a Femena or other experts. So let's take, for example, you are like Biola who came to speak, an accountant, but you want to move into data analytics, all right? You're not sure if data analytics is the right one for you. So you want to speak with me, you want to speak with a Femena, you want to speak with any experts within Tenalytics. Very simple. Once you have made payment, to secure your slot first of all, so you don't lose the discounts, secure the slots. When you are filling this form, if you click on upload your receipts, when you are filling the form, you see a part that says, which program have you paid for? All right. And all you have to do is select the option that says, speak to a professional. Okay. And if you select that option, speak to a professional, we set up a one-on-one session between now and next week, Tuesday, where you get to meet with a professional to help you take a decision on what to choose. But it's between now and Tuesday, I can tell you for a fact that all the discounted slots would have been gone. by then. Okay, so secure your slot, and then you can we can have a conversation if you want to on specific things related to your career journey, years of experience, and so on and so forth. Okay, the brochures are also available for you. If you click on this link that says get access to all program brochures, you can access the data analytics brochure. Okay, if I click on that, you see the brochure and all the nitty-gritty of what you're going to learn. Okay, I'm just going to maximize this a bit. So you can download it, go through it, look at it. You know, what does the program entail? Look at the different things you're going to learn, the different tools, and how that becomes important. So you can see the problem-solving techniques. That's the first class you join as a data analyst. Problem definition, the 5 whys, the CRISP DM framework, designing an issue tree, and so many other things, okay? Excel, you start with introduction to Excel, understanding the Excel environment, data manipulation, data modeling, all right? You then move to Power BI, see the data manipulation, analysis and DAX, visualization, publishing to the Power BI service. You move to SQL, and so on and so forth, okay? So you have the opportunity, go through all the different modules, the nitty-gritty, and that gives you a clear picture of your journey with us at Tenalytics. You see some of the projects you're also going to work on some fantastic projects that you'd help to build your portfolio, speak about during interviews, all right? So that's the brochure which you have access to. So I'm going to start taking questions now because of time, and so we can wrap up early enough. So I'll go back to my slide and then we start to take questions, okay? Let me see the questions we have in the chat. Could you please share the account details with us in our email? Yes, that'll be shared with everybody, all right? The link is already on my slide, so you have access to that anyways. Once you get the link, you are good to go. We have so many more testimonials. I would have loved to show you, all right? I know we are out of time, but remember the discount is for the first 20 people to register. We also have more testimonials from Aduke, from Wale, from Akintola rather, from brilliant, fantastic individuals. I want you to listen to them, okay? Listen to them, listen to what they have to say. Akintola, I think Akintola is a fashion designer who joined the data analytics program, and he's doing amazing stuff, you know, after completing the program, all right? You have Ramat, you have Temi, you have Ikmat, you have Benga. Listen to Benga as well. Fantastic gentleman. Benga is another superstar, just like Olugbemi. You need to listen. You need to listen to Tony. Of course, Olugbemi is, like I said. And of course, you can also go to our YouTube. I'll show you the YouTube where you have all the testimonials. You can go through everything. And these are all individuals, fantastic professionals. They've joined our program, just like Biola came to speak with you. And they've done amazing stuff afterwards. Okay? So I'm not going to bore you with all these different testimonials. You can go through them, look at them, and I'm sure you get inspired from 1 or 2 stories of how people have transitioned within the space. And you also get to read our features from different publications, both in Nigeria and outside across the globe in Europe. PR Fire, one of the largest publications in Europe, they talked about how we have helped Africans across 4 continents to land tech jobs. Okay, so of course you get to watch the hackathon, amazing, fantastic hackathon session. And I'm going to take questions now. And if you also want to listen to any of the testimonial videos, I could play that for you before we call it a day today. All right. A brilliant story you might want to listen to is Akintola. You might also want to listen to Ikmat. I'm always inspired when I listen to Ikmat or Benga. Okay. But you let me know what you want while I take questions. Is there a certificate? Yes, there's a certificate once you are done with your training. Your lecture timings are not favorable for someone working in the UK. What do you mean by that, Moto? Someone working in the UK, classes are on weekends. Okay, classes are on weekends. So you have the opportunity to either join the morning or join the evening. All right. The larger chunk of our participants come from the UK. motto. You saw Biola. Biola is still in the UK. He joined in September and he got his job in November. All right. And people ask that, how is it possible? Even before completing your program, how do you get a job? We don't wait. You don't wait for 4 months until you start to apply to a job. You don't wait to complete the program to start to apply. The moment you are done with Excel, you start to apply to jobs. We're going to push you. We're going to wind you and ensure that you apply, except you don't want to get a job and maybe are looking to, get a promotion in the office, or you are looking to apply your learnings on your own business. But if your journey, your objective is to get a job, we're going to push you every Thursday until you get that job eventually. All right. What's the corresponding Nigerian time? So all the timings you see here are West Africa timing. West Africa timing. What? Okay. So if you're in Nigeria, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. is 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. in Nigeria. 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. is 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. in Nigeria. So you select any of the two that fits your timing on Saturday. And your live class is only on Saturday. You don't have a live class on Sunday. You have a self-paced class on Sunday. All right. So that's the flexibility we put into that. How does the reservation work? Okay. So my colleagues will send that to you in the chat, so you have an idea on how that works. No classes within the week at all, motto. 90% of our participants are either students or working professionals. Okay, so they're either doing their master's, their PhD, or they work from Monday to Friday. So we don't have live classes Monday to Fridays. All right. You have your mentorship sessions on Thursday evening, late into the evening, starting at around 9 p.m. or thereabouts. The amazing stuff as well, which I'll just quickly show you as I take more questions, is you have the opportunity. You never miss anything. That's the beauty of learning with us. You never miss anything. Okay. And I'm just quickly going to show you as I take more questions. Now, what does that mean? Now, let's assume I joined Biola. So let's go to Biola's class. Okay. So this is the platform. When you register, you join one of these classes. I have all the classes here because, of course, I am a part of all the classes. But when you make payments and you join a class, you'd only see the class that you have made payments for. So I'm going to go to Biola's class, Data Analytics September. All right, Data Analytics September, that's Biola's class, Biola that came to speak to you. So you can see that here, okay? Data Analytics, NA, cohort 2309. That's the year 2023, 09 is September, right? NA means North America. So these are for people, around the US, around Canada, and so on. Now, you'll see Data Analytics EU, and these are for people in Europe, Nigeria, similar time zones, which Biola would belong to. Okay, so I'm going to click on this class, all right? And let's see what it entails. So going to this class, I'm going to click on classwork. Okay, classwork. And I'll scroll all the way to the bottom. But before I even scroll down, today is Thursday, 14th of December. Their mentorship session today is on how to negotiate your salary. Okay, so I'm going to click on this. Let's see. The title is not showing fully. I'm going to click on rename. It's not showing fully, but the title here is what? How to negotiate your salary. That's what they are doing today. And that's the link to join the session. So I'm just going to walk you through what the platform looks like. So you have your mentorship sessions every Thursdays, all right? If you have an interview, you can see the schedule of an interview. All you have to do is click here, click on the link. It takes you to a Calendly. You select your dates, select your time. This Calendly link, okay, the owner of the account, log in. Well, I can't log into this. This is probably I can't log into this particular link because I'm using my Tenalytics account, okay? But this is how you schedule your interview using this link. You have your mentorship session again, what recruiters look for. This was last week, Thursday. So if you look at Biola's class, we scroll all the way to the bottom. All right. The first thing you get is your onboarding materials. What you need to get started, how to download Power BI, install PostgreSQL, download and install Tableau Public. You have your welcome kit and all the amazing stuff to get prepared. And then you have problem solving class. That's the very first class. And this class you can see started on the 2nd of September. Now, let's assume you missed this class. On a Saturday, you had an emergency. You had to go to work. You didn't plan for that. Or you have Owambe, you have a party you need to attend to. Okay? The recordings are there for you. So you see the class recording. All you need to do is come here. You have the slide. So if you come to the slide, you see the slide. You click on the slide, you have access to everything that was done on that particular day. You have access to everything that was done on that particular day. And the session was taken by Nene, who is a strategic planning professional. She's a senior financial planning and analytics professional working with Zelos in the UK, an authorized licensee of Nike. She's worked with as a leadership advisor at Harvard Business Review, trained over 2,500 people. She's worked in KPMG Nigeria, Bank of America in the UK, and also the Loros Development Partners. So the first thing you get to hear in class is what is data. And that's where you start from, right from the basic. Okay, so this was the same thing Biola started with. And you see where Biola is today. So you have the recording as well. So you have the slides, you have the recording. So if you miss this class, all you have to do is come to your platform, download the slides, click on the link, watch the recording, see what happened in class. You hear all the questions and every single thing that happened, you get to be a part of it. Okay, so this is the class. All right, because of time, I'm not going to play it. So you come here, you can download and you have access to download all your class recordings. All you have to do is come to the top right here. And if you open in a new tab, you can download, right? Click on play, open in a new tab, and then you can download your class recordings. Okay, so let's take more questions. So this is just to show you what the platform looks like and to show that, yes, emergencies could come up. You could miss a live class, but then you haven't really missed anything. So you see the Excel live class, all right? You look at the case study. You have a case study that was used on that day. Like I said, it is project-based. So if I click on the case study, you'd see what they did in class. So if you missed that class, you watch the recording, come to the case study, the slide, the data set, everything is available. So 3 case studies were done or solved on this day. Case study 1 is for TrueFit Manufacturing. They need help with their monthly budgeting. So you're going to work on that. Case study 2, you're going to help Ace Analytics track its work hours. And case study 3, you're going to derive insights for Magic Electronics customer data. Okay, so you can see all the case studies one by one. You're going to solve this together with your facilitator. And the recording is also available in case you missed the class. We don't advise you to miss class. Biola mentioned something very important, which is you must do what? You must put in some level of what? Commitment. Okay, it's not going to happen by magic. You're not just going to miraculously appear in class, leave the class and understand and get everything that you need. You need to put in that commitment. You need to work on your projects. You need to attend classes, all right? You need to join the sessions, the mentorship, the CV sessions. You listen to Biola. Okay, so you have the materials. Everything is available, and this is where your platform is. So you see the Excel assignment you have, which is case study 3, which is an assignment you're going to work on, and you have all of that available, all right? You have project presentations. I'm going to talk about this and I'll leave this platform. As a data analyst, communication is very, very important. You're going to communicate. You're going to mention and show your insights and findings to stakeholders. So you're going to start doing that right from your first Excel class. You work on projects and come to present. Okay, you're going to present. You work together in a group. You can see the group list. You have a group list. You join a group, you work together, and you solve problems. And each member of the team comes to what? Present. Okay, I'm not going to show this because it has people's phone numbers, but then you can see what the group list looks like, and then you work together in your project presentations. Okay, so that's what the platform looks like, and you have an amazing session at the end of the day. Okay, so I'm going to take more questions and then we'll try to wrap up in the next 5 minutes. Can I make an initial payment of $200? Wahab, I'm not sure you can't do that. I think the minimum you can pay is £210 or £207 rather. That's the minimum. That's the minimum you can pay. So if I come back here, so let's assume I want to make, so it's showing me pounds because of course, although I left the UK on Sunday, I'm currently in Nigeria, but I guess it's still recognizing my my zone as the UK. So that's why I can see mine in pounds. But if you're in the US or in Canada, you'd see that in your own currency. So if I click on part payments, it shows me £207, if I'm correct. That's the minimum you can pay. Okay, but what you can also do, Wahab, all right? You want a payment plan that suits your current situation. What you can do easily, send us a message or send us an email. Okay, so this is £207.5. That's the minimum you can pay in pounds. I don't know what the equivalent of that is in dollars, but if you open that, you'd see the minimum. So once you click on part payments, you'd see minimum amount you can pay. All right. But what you can also do, Wahab, is send us an email. Let me send the email. The email is enquiries@10analytics. Okay, .io. Enquiries@10analytics.io. All right. Just send us send an email to that, or send an email to @10analytics. All right, @10analytics.io. So I've sent 2 emails to you, Wahab. Just send an email. Somebody will respond to you to tell you that, okay, yes, you can go ahead and make this payment or not, depending on what fits at that point in time. The receipt is very straightforward, very, very straightforward. Let me show you very quickly what to do. iPhone, although I can't see your name. If I can see your hand is up, I'll come to you shortly, please. I apologize. I'll come to you shortly. So now, if you've made a payment, so the same link you clicked on that brought you to this place where you selected your payment, that same link you'd see where you have upload your receipt. Click on that, upload your receipt, click on it, okay? Enter your email. What type of payment did you make? Initial payment, full payment, balance payment. I made initial payment. I click on next. Okay. What else? You're going to get your welcome kit on or before 31st of January and so on. I click on next. Okay. What else? Terms and conditions. So the terms and conditions are there. You click on that, read the terms and conditions. I have accepted. Click on yes. Okay, and then you click on next. All right, you enter your first name, your last name. So let me enter my name. Okay, last name. My email. Let me enter a Gmail, adesasuleiman@gmail.com. Gender, male. Click on next. So it's pretty straightforward. All right. When did I make payments? Let me select today. I made payment today, 14th. And you see where to upload. So add a file, all right? So you go to where you have your file. So the screenshot or is a receipt you received where you made payments on either Paystack or Mainstack. But let me click on this. Let me just upload something, all right? I click on my payments, upload it. And after uploading, I click on, what's your mode of payment? Did you pay using Mainstack, Paystack, pounds transfer, or Naira transfer? Let's say Paystack. Click on next. Okay. What program are you registering for? So this is where I said, are you registering for data analytics? This is the data analytics masterclass. So you select data analytics. Well, let's assume that you want to have a conversation with somebody. So you've made your payments, no doubt, you've secured your discounts, but I want to speak to Adeza, I want to speak to Efe, I want to speak to somebody, all right? I want to be confident I'm making the right decision. So because you have paid for data analytics today, does not mean you can't change that program tomorrow. You can, okay? So all you have to do is select, I need to speak with a professional, all right? But if you are sure I've made the right decision, I want data analytics, you click on data analytics and click on next. All right, so this is what you do. What class do you want to join, the morning or the evening? Oh, I'm going to be free in the evening, 4 p.m. West African time, or 11 a.m. West African time. Select one of the two that you feel you want to join. Click on next. So you can see it's pretty straightforward, all right? What cohort do you intend to start? Okay, so let's take, for example, you want to take advantage of the discount today and defer your program to February, all right? Because our cohorts run all year long, January, February, March, April, up until the end of the year. But you have a discount available today that you can take advantage of. You've made your payments and you can select February to start on the 3rd of February instead of 6th of January. So my discount is secured. I'm not going to pay a penny more than my discounted fee of today. So I can either start on the 6th of January or on the 3rd of February. So you can defer if you want to. And that helps you secure the discount, okay? So let's assume I click on 3rd of February. I enter my WhatsApp phone number, very important because it gives you the opportunity to join the WhatsApp group. So you enter your number. I'm just going to enter an arbitrary number. Okay, country of residence, United Kingdom. How did you hear about us? I heard about you through Adeza Suleiman or the Nigerian Student Society of Bradford, or I heard about you from Dr. Muyiwa or Authentic Traveling. Select one of them, click on next. This helps with our marketing. So we know where you heard about us from and how we can optimize as well. So this is collecting data. As data analysts, you collect data as much as you can. So when you're making decisions, you know how to take those decisions based on analysis you get from that data. So once you're done with this, you just click on submit and that's it. All right. So I hope that helps to answer your question. Brilliant. So let me go back to Ifoma. I think Ifoma has a question. She has a hand up. I think because of time, I'm just going to take Ifoma's question and then we wrap it up for today. We're going to have a clarity session. The clarity session is all about you coming to ask your question. We'll have fewer numbers of people in class. All right. So you'd have the opportunity to ask questions and also get to interact with me and other professionals within Tenalytics. Yeah, it's a long process, but we need to capture all the details available as much as possible. So we don't come to you multiple times. All right. So Ijoma, please go ahead. I've asked you to unmute yourself. Let's hear your question, Ijoma.
Oh, hi. Thank you for the opportunity. My challenge is right now I'm in Nigeria for Christmas, and after now I'll go back to the US. So I'm wondering if I can transition from the 11 to 2 to the evening classes when I go back to my base.
Absolutely, you can. You can do that. So all you need to do is just let your coordinator know. I'm leaving Nigeria, I'm going back to the US, and I need to move to the evening class. So I need to move to the class that would be best for me. And they'll organize that for you easily. All right. You're not stuck to one particular class, no. Okay, so for the data analytics program, you have the same facilitator, the same trainer who's going to work with you, work with those in the UK, work with those in the US as well. All right. So you can move based on your travel, your current travel plan. All you need to do is just let your coordinator know, send a message, send an email, and they organize that for you.
Okay, all right? Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, Ijoma. Okay. I think iPhone is saying, please, I just want to do a transfer through the Naira, but I'm seeing through Naira account, I am seeing here rather than going through a link. Okay, iPhone, I'm not sure I understand your question. Understood. Please, I just want to do a transfer. Yes, you can do a transfer. I think my colleagues have sent the account detail several times. It's a Fidelity Bank account, 5600597520. Yeah, that's the account number you have. It's a Fidelity Bank account. All right. So, but iPhone, if you have any questions you'd like to ask us, you want to reach out, you want somebody to guide you through the process, we can do that for you. You can reach out to us on any of these numbers. I'm going to show that shortly. You can either reach out to us via email, enquiries@10analytics.io, or send us a WhatsApp message to any of these numbers. Oops, and somebody would respond to you. All right. But that's the account, iPhone. You can make payments, and also it's a Fidelity Bank account. All right. So let me see if I have more questions before we wrap it up for today. Just going through the charts. I'm not sure I missed out on any question. If I missed your question, please just send it again so that I get to see it. I would like to make payments this evening from Nigeria. All right, I think that's still iPhone. So iPhone, even if you can't upload because of the process, make the payment, take a screenshot of the proof of payment, and just send it to any of these numbers via WhatsApp, or send an email. Send it to any of these numbers via WhatsApp, and somebody would guide you and support you to help you do that. Okay. Okay, so these are the numbers you have. +2349029850839, and then you have +447448034093. All right, send a message on WhatsApp and somebody will respond to you almost immediately. Okay, almost immediately. So if you need any help, somebody will be there for you to help you out. All right. So I think I've captured all the questions in the chat. I want to thank everybody who has joined us today. Okay. And what I want to say very quickly. So I want to know if I can leave this slide. You might want to take a screenshot so you don't miss out any of the numbers. Okay. But this is how you can reach out to us via our WhatsApp channel. You can send us an email via this email, enquiries@10analytics.io. You can reach out to us on any of our social media platforms, on Instagram, YouTube, and so on and so forth. But I want to say a big thank you to everybody that has stayed up until this moment. It's been a fantastic ride. 2023 has been amazing, not just for us, but over 850 people that we have helped to transition into tech in the year 2023. Biola, interestingly, was not even captured in those numbers. So there are so many people out there that one way or the other have been able to benefit from starting and taking that first step. The first step is always the most important step to take. And I'll tell you from experience, can you do it on your own? Absolutely, you can. Is it compulsory? I must do it with 10analytics. No, it's not. But the difference is going the ride on your own will take a long time. That's guaranteed. I took over 2 years to transition because I was doing so many things that were really not necessary. I made mistakes that nobody told me not to make. Okay. But you have the opportunity to learn from those who have gone ahead of you, to say, look, don't make this mistake. Navigate the journey this way, go left, go right. This is how you speak during the interviews. This is how you negotiate a salary, and so on and so forth. What I want everybody to do today is go to our platforms, follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube, follow us on all our channels. We're going to have amazing, amazing sessions coming up in the next 1 to 2 weeks before the end of the year. All right. Just like this, which is a free session. You get to learn something new and you get to listen, to hear from industry experts, and even just get inspired from somebody like Biola. Okay. So we're going to have all these sessions coming. Follow us on LinkedIn, follow us on Instagram, on X, on YouTube, on Facebook, and so on and so forth. Okay. So you can simply just go to YouTube, and I'll show you that. And then I would say bye-bye for today. All right, just go to YouTube, type in YouTube and search for Tenalytics. Okay, so when you go on YouTube, I'm just going to search Tenalytics. So search Tenalytics. You can watch our hackathon. We had a hackathon about 2 weeks ago. Absolutely phenomenal. All right, search Tenalytics, click on Tenalytics. Okay, it takes you to our YouTube page, and then you get to see all the sessions we've held. This was the one that we held on Saturday the 9th. Yeah, and you see the testimonials as well. Okay, listen to these amazing professionals. All right, so you can click on testimonials. It takes you to all the testimonials. You can listen to all these fantastic people. We can't put all of this on our slides. Of course, we're going to bore you with too many testimonials, but you can always come here, listen to them, and I'm sure I can guarantee that you get inspired listening to their stories. And you can also get to watch our videos, previous masterclasses for free. And I bet you would learn one or two things. For example, you'd see building an end-to-end financial report, practical application of business analysis, and so many other sessions that we've had in the past. Okay, so thank you once again for joining us this Thursday evening. Thank you and bless you too, Musa. And it's a pleasure having you, Sholari. And for everybody who contributed today, Nawaz, and everybody that joined, have an amazing week. And I hope you have an amazing weekend as well. You have anything, you have a brother, you have a colleague, you have a sister, a family member that wants to transition into tech, you know that Tenalytics is the way to go. Moto, thank you for joining us too. And have an amazing evening. Cheers, everyone. Until we see in another session, or we see on the 6th of January when you join the program, have an amazing time. And I hope to see you soon. Cheers, everyone.